Oh shit.
Alright, so we're talking about a movie that's not Scary Movie 5, so that's nice.
God. Yeah, what was it? 42. 42.
You were just remarking that's kind of what it feels like outside.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the
It got
fucking
chillier.
temperature right now, yeah.
It got a little chillier out today.
Spring, you're a whore and a liar.
The other day I put my fucking coat away. I didn't think that I would need... Oops.
Already?
I didn't think that I would need it again for
Exactly.
the goddamn spring. Well, you're the baseball guy. What'd you think?
I liked it. I mean, it's one of those things, with all biopics that they throw, you know, when they say based on a true story, you're going to have embellished.
Turns out Jackie was actually white.
Yeah, right? He just did blackface. No, totally, no. But, I mean, there's embellishments, but that movie is a fairly accurate portrayal
Was it pretty accurate?
Of what he had to go through that entire first season.
Mm-hmm.
And I do make race jokes a lot, but I don't think I could ever make a race joke regarding Jackie Robinson. No.
So you're not Alan Tudyk in this movie?
No, I'm not racist Alan Tudyk in this movie.
Racist Alan Tudyk, who shows up for probably 90 minutes into the movie. You and I are both, is that Alan Tudyk?
Yeah, he plays the Philadelphia manager who does nothing but say nigger, basically. You know, like he was expecting, just to get a rise out of him, trying to get him thrown out of the game, which is basically what they were trying to do. Pretty much every white person, even his own teammates, were obviously against it. They even start, like, early on, they sign a petition that they're not going to play with him, and there has to be a confrontation with Leo DeRocher at the time, who's managing the Brooklyn Dodgers during that time period. But yeah, I mean, it sucked for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he couldn't do anything. He really couldn't do anything about it.
The movie shows that.
Yeah, there was... Yeah. Because if he would have done anything about this oppressive racism that he would have... that he got day in and day out, I mean, baseball would have easily kicked him out.
Yeah.
You know, he had umps who were against him. He had the entire other teams who were against him. Managers, team owners who were saying, you know, at one point in the movie they show one of the team owners calling Branch Rickey, the owner of the Dodgers, and saying,
I love that name, Branch
Rickey. Branch Rickey and Leo DeRocher are probably two of the funnest names.
I love really rich guy 1940s names. Like, have you met my grandfather, Rax Hauser? He sounds wealthy.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, they won't play against him in some parts. I mean, well, they threaten not to play. Eventually, that's the thing with this. That's the thing with baseball. The reason it ultimately worked was because Jackie Robinson was good, and Major League Baseball likes money, and they got a shit ton of money from the increase in attendance of African Americans. They got a lot of money out of it. So, like they showed at the end of the movie, they were talking about how Ray Campanella joined the team later. It opened the floodgates. Jackie Robinson, I mean, it was a trial by fire for Jackie, and it opened the floodgates for all the other African American players. Because before Jackie, it was an unwritten rule that the whites had Major League Baseball and the blacks had the Negro Leagues. And there were hundreds of incredible players in the Negro Leagues who never got a chance to play.
When was the next time that there was an African American ball player in Major League Baseball?
The following season. Yeah, the next season, like it was shown, like Ray Campanella, for the Dodgers actually, Ray Campanella came up, and after that it was just, then it became no big deal. But it was just that it took that one time, and it had to have been Jackie Robinson. I don't think anybody else would have been able to handle
the movie.
That type of... Yeah.
It goes through that. I mean, the movie's pretty intense, right. Honestly. Oh, yeah. It really is. Like, it gets downright kind of scary a few times, and probably Alan Tudyk's second most offensive role next to Transformers 3. That's what we in the internet like to call a joke, by the way.
Oh, damn it.
I liked it. I liked the movie.
No, it was definitely. I mean, while I do say they embellished it not over the top, and they kept. They highlighted the most important moments of his season.
Yeah.
And with that, it was true to form.
Uh-huh.
Like, because, I mean, it's easy to find, with baseball, records, you know, they retain all the records.
Yeah.
You can look that stuff up. That stuff is pretty easy to recreate.
Mm-hmm.
It's the interactions after the games. It's the stuff in between the games that you kind of have to go through hearsay and what other people have told, and what Jackie himself, I mean, he's talked about it later on in his life, and there's been biographies where people have...
The Jackie Robinson story in 1950 where he played himself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where he played himself. How often does that happen? Like a biopic of them? Because it wasn't it was like this, but made in 1950,
right.
And it was Jackie Robinson playing him. And I remember that. I remember that being pretty good, and I remember him doing a really good job in the movie too.
I mean, as far as baseball goes, I don't know if there's been another one.
Another biopic?
Well, I mean, where somebody's played themselves.
Oh, where someone's actually... no, it wasn't Babe Ruth playing the Babe Ruth story with William Bendix.
I mean, I'm trying
we could capture that Bendix magic.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, in, like, biopics in general. Like, I'm sure it's happened before. But
Audie Murphy. Audie Murphy played himself in a biopic. But that wasn't baseball. That was because he was a.
It was actually Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
The
playing
performance
Audie.
was just that good.
Fucking Daniel Day-Lewis. He's above everything else in this world. He's amazing. He's a fucking robot. Jesus, he can do anything.
It's a really well done. It's a really well done flick. It's well made, and Harrison Ford is amazing in this movie. I'm gonna have to work on another Harrison Ford voice now because let me tell you something. I'm a Methodist. Jackie's a Methodist. God is a Methodist. So he's in good company. Now I have two Harrison Ford voices.
And I don't know what Branch Rickey sounded like.
I hope it was that.
But if he didn't sound like that, I'm supremely disappointed because that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I get these letters week after week, you pussy.
So I'm sorry if I don't feel sorry.
I'm sorry if I don't feel sorry for you.
Yes.
Harrison Ford's worth the ticket price alone. He's amazing in this movie.
He
And the
is
movie
awesome.
really is, like, it's, of course it's about Jackie, of course it is, but it's also, Branch Rickey's in this movie a lot. Like, almost as much as Jackie Robinson is.
Yeah.
So it's really about what that was like, from him too, in that dealing with all of the other owners, like calling to forfeit the hate he got and stuff like it. Like, so it's really about both of these characters, and it does that well. It's certainly a Hollywood biopic in the sense, like, I thought the movie was entertaining. I thought it was well done. It's one of those biopics though where, like, if you don't know how you're supposed to feel emotionally, the music will remind you, and the slow motion and stuff like that. Like, really, can't you just, like, let a moment happen? Like, real, but and a couple, like, the opening scene is just, it's credits, and then it's Harrison Ford going, I think we need a black ball player. Like, wow, that was fast. I'm sorry, who are you again? Was you getting thrown into this really quick? Okay.
Yeah.
But but I really like the interaction between the other players and Jackie, the other players amongst themselves. Everything with Harrison Ford was outstanding. It got a little cheeseball every now and then, like with the kid in the stands, Ed Charles.
Ed Charles. Who they singled him out because I'm assuming he went to a game where Jackie Robinson was at, which gave him then the inspiration to go on to play Major League Baseball himself. They even mentioned that about how he ends up playing baseball, and then when he ends up
Yeah.
winning a series with the '69 Miracle Mets, which they could probably have their own biopic movie just that year. But he was in that, so they touch on him briefly.
Like you don't know until the very end that was him, and when it says the credit, and when it shows him it's showing him as a kid in the stands, and Jackie's it's all balls, so Jackie's not swinging or hitting because they're far away, but I'm not good with baseball terms. I'm not a sports guy.
Basically, they're intentionally
Yeah.
not giving him anything to hit.
So it's like this sweeping shot of a kid in the stands, like praying and things like that, which to describe it, yeah, that sounds okay, fine. When you see it in the movie, it's really cheeseball when it shows it in the movie, and like chasing the train and putting his ear on the train and stuff like that. It's really hammy.
That may have been the embellishments. I'm not saying that like never happened. I'm just saying like in the movie. And same with the white kid later on who was in the stands, where he's in the stands with his dad, and his dad is
shouting, is being racist, is shouting the N-word, and it's this kid who we've never seen these characters before.
Right.
And it's this kid in the audience who's just like, what? Huh? What is he? Huh? Oh, I guess I should be racist too. And then
his favorite ball player at the time is Pee Wee Reese. He's wanting Pee Wee Reese to get some hits. And so his dad calls out, Jackie Robinson calls him a nigger, and so then the little kid nobody's born with racism, you learn it. And so the kid, and
everyone knows that, oh really?
Yeah.
Thanks movie, I'm just figuring this out now.
It's like, wow. So of course then so the little kid says it too.
Yeah, the little kid says it too.
And then they're doing their throw rounds before the game starts, and Pee Wee comes over and just puts his arm around Jackie, and then they start having a heart-to-heart.
Yeah, which that was good. That
was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
The thing with the kid in the audience is just subtle.
So then the little kid's like sitting there going, he starts making pouty faces. He doesn't.
Maybe I'm not racist anymore.
Maybe my dad's just a fucking asshole.
Right.
And maybe I shouldn't be a fucking retard and not call people nigger. Maybe I should not do that.
Oh, the stuff with the stuff with Alan Tudyk was pretty intense. Like, that was really well done.
And I think that is actually that is documented as having happened. I don't know how much of Tudyk's dialogue was actually taken from the game.
Or like what about like the when they got the picture taken together?
That actually happened.
I figured,
that actually did happen. But that was more, like they said, for the manager of the Phillies to save face more so than it was actually.
They get that point across in the movie too.
Right? Yeah, it's all about saving face, but I mean, that game. I don't know how far, because then there's a scene where it gets to Jackie and he goes down to the. Starts to go back to the locker rooms. And then Branch comes in and says, "You're only quitting on yourself.
You're only quitting on yourself, Jack."
He's like, "No." Jackie's like, "Do you know what it's like to be going through this?" He's like, "No. No, I don't.
I can't hear you, man."
Oh, sorry. I've had this cigar in my mouth since 1921.
Same goddamn cigar. But so
he's this close to looking like Indiana Jones in the movie.
Just
he has
really old
glasses, the bow tie. He has a fedora on sometime, like any minute now. I'm waiting for Donovan's men to like put him in the car and.
Or he like has a whip hanging up behind his desk in his office.
No, like see, this is it's a better old Indiana Jones movie than Crystal Skull.
Right. Come for Jackie Robinson, stay for the Indiana Jones.
Stay for Indiana Jones.
Oh damn!
But like, and I thought it was an entertaining flick, and I'm not a sports guy. I don't claim to be. I don't claim to be a sports expert or anything. But I do like a lot of sports movies though, which is weird. And this one, I dug it. I did. I can't say it's something that I would have gone to see if it wasn't for seeing it for the site.
Right.
And it did, you know, it does come across a little like that it easily could have been like an HBO movie, like the Roger Maris flick.
The 61, 61, yeah.
Like 61 and things like that. But I got a good turnout tonight, so maybe it'll do pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, it's Springfield. That doesn't mean anything. I've been at packed houses at a midnight screening for something that made only $5 million on opening weekend.
That's true.
So I and one thing, like, it's not a perfect movie. Like I said, it got kind of cheeseball a few times, and also, it's got a lot of really interesting characters in it between Harrison Ford. Some of the other players on the team, Christopher Maloney.
As Leo Durocher, yeah.
The Bible also says something about adultery.
It's got stuff like that in there, and a lot of these supporting characters in the movie really kind of carry the flick, because a lot of them are actually rather three-dimensional, and the movie does a really good job of showing us everything that Jackie Robinson went through, what he accomplished, and all of that, but you don't really leave the theater, at least me anyway, leave the theater knowing really all that much else about him other than what he did. Like, actually, like, him as a person. It's a very, how he is in the movie is very, it's written very two-dimensionally.
Right.
He's not exactly a three-dimensional character in this film. He's very much overshadowed by characters like Branch Rickey and some of these other guys in the movie.
Right.
Now, the actor did a really good job. I thought the actor did fine, but really, like, he did a really good job of showing all of his accomplishments, but about him as a person, I've seen other baseball movies that do that a lot better than this. Hell, the 1950 one did, of course. That had the benefit of it actually being Jackie Robinson playing.
Well, and here's the issue is they don't, if you're looking for a life story of Jackie Robinson, this is not it. This covers, from essentially what you're saying, the movie starts out with Branch Rickey looking
in
for
45.
Yeah, starts
right?
45.
Yeah.
Him coming up with the Montreal club, their affiliate, up to the pennant chase they have in 1947. So it's only covering a span of 2 years. So what you've got, I mean, it's tough to kind of do something like, because what you've got is you've already got an established individual. I mean, backstory. I mean, like there's a couple scenes like when his child's born. He goes into a little bit talking about how his dad left him when he was a kid. That's about the
and
most
even that
backstory.
felt more like just exposition than it
was.
did something he would have actually said.
It was a filler.
Yeah.
And kind of another one of those kind of cheesy moments. I mean, it works, but it's just filler exposition since you're starting out. I mean, he's already 26. I mean, they talk a little bit about him being in World War II. They're showing him when the movie starts out, he's still playing for the Kansas City Monarchs.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you're not covering a long time period for this man.
No, you're not. But at the same time, you still don't know much about, even personality-wise, really, because really, like, I mean, you could have made a movie that's just in that period of time, but still have him be a very three-dimensional character in terms of writing and making a movie. But the performance is solid. The performance is solid, and dear God, do you ever root for the guy?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Oh, yeah. Which you should.
This country's got a checkered past.
Just a little bit.
Were you sitting there like, oh God, please don't let it show my Braves being racist. Please don't let it show my Braves being racist.
And they did.
Did it show the Braves in the movie?
It did.
Oh,
no,
okay.
But not very long. It was just a cutaway. But yeah, I mean, I can't. Yeah, the Braves were just like every other team. You know, nobody wanted a black player. They were like, you guys have got your own league. You stay with it. We stay here. You know, and that's the problem with stuff that gets ingrained in people. You can't change it overnight. And I mean, Jackie throughout his career was still getting issues. They were still death threats.
Oh, sure.
You know, because you got those holders on. You got, especially in the South. But I mean, he helped pave the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
oh God, yeah.
And I mean, if there's a fitting tribute every year, every Major League Ball player in one day wears 42 in unison, just to show solidarity for what he gave to the sport.
Oh yeah, they foreshadowed that in the movie. One day, Jackie, we're all gonna be wearing your number.
We all wear 42, so they can't tell us apart. And as soon as they did that, I'm like, okay, yeah, they actually do that. I was like, okay, I get it. I see.
Like some of it was this close to being like the Babe Ruth story where he accidentally like hit the dog on the foul ball. You remember that scene?
God damn it!
Remember that scene? He goes up, to, Mister, you hit my dog. Oh, geez, Sonny, I'm really sorry. I don't think Babe Ruth was that nice.
Oh shit. But no, I think it's. I can't really even say it's a true biopic. It's a baseball movie that centers.
It's a Hollywood biopic.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it centers more around the baseball aspect, like with the racism within the baseball, more so than it's dealing with Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson is in it because he's the one that broke it. But I mean, it could have just been about racism in baseball.
It covers all fields in that. It covers
Right.
Jackie. It covers Branch Rickey. It covers the teammates. It covers other teams. A lot of different stuff. And honestly, I thought the movie went by fairly quick. It's an over 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
It was like 2 hours and 10 minutes. I thought it went by actually rather quickly. It did. I guarantee you, when I see Scary Movie 5, that's going to feel longer.
Like an hour and 28 minutes. And
yeah.
Dragging.
How much you want to bet the last 15 minutes of that movie are credits?
I don't envy you at all.
Going to see that.
You have fun with that.
God damn it, AMC. But it's an entertaining enough movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's got enough good characters in it, enough funny lines. Really, there are some funny lines in the movie.
Yeah.
Like him, his banter Harrison Ford's banter back and forth with Christopher Maloney was good.
Yeah.
The stuff about like, oh, damn it, I'm in Pittsburgh. Yeah, that was good.
Getting traded to Pittsburgh.
Could trade fucking Pittsburgh.
We're about 15 years too early.
So I'd recommend it. Like if especially that there's not that much good that's playing right now.
Yeah,
like I was about to say if you've seen everything else, but it's like, wait a minute, what have I recommended like 3 fucking movies since the beginning of the year? No, this is a good one. This is one that it was good. I liked it. I can't say it's something I'd watch again, but I liked it. It's one of Harrison Ford's better roles in
recently
in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I always like sports movies. I mean, baseball movies in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I probably, I don't know where I'd rank this amongst my favorite movies, because I got like things like The Natural and Bull Durham.
Field of Dreams.
You know what? I cannot stand Field of Dreams.
I like Field of Dreams, man.
I can't. I love of the Kevin Costner.
That's just because you don't like corn.
It doesn't digest. It comes in my poop. What's the like?
I'm just saying, it's very difficult to make a baseball field in a cornfield. You should at least give it props for that.
You can do it every year when they fucking harvest.
Yeah, but then...
Look, 4 bases. We got a baseball field.
Yeah, but then the corn will just grow on top of the field. I mean, you gotta maintenance that shit.
I think the Children of the Corn did really well.
There was no baseball in that. I don't remember any baseball.
Oh, wait.
Or was there? Or was there stickball, maybe?
Wait, he who grows within the rose, or he who's within the rose wasn't a baseball player?
Who Pete Rose?
No. No, I'm talking about Children of the Corn.
Oh.
Or he who walks in the rose, or whatever the fuck their
It's been a while since I watched Children of the Corn.
crazy ass thing is. He Who Walks Within the Rose or something. The one they feed all the 18-year-olds to. The demon.
Linda Hamilton? What was some other? Now I'm off even baseball movies. Now I'm just like, oh man, I want to go watch Rollerball. That's a good sports movie.
Con.
Rollerball, man. You ever see this one fucking movie called? I've got this fucking movie at home. It's called Hard Knuckle. That's about. No, it's not a porn. It's not. It's a post-apocalyptic movie. This is the 80s. It's a post-apocalyptic movie where they're playing. It's a billiards competition. And then the loser loses a finger. There's like a little slicer at the end of like the fucking.
You know, that reminds me of like fucking, what was it? The Tales from the Crypt episode where they're playing poker and it gets high stakes and they keep chopping off pieces of their bodies.
I miss that one.
Lance Henriksen is one of the poker players, and they end up chopping everything off, and they're just torsos with heads left. I swear to God,
it's fantastic.
Look it up. I swear to God, it was one of my all-time favorite movies. But it just kind of high stakes shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
nice.
Totally off a tangent, but it worked. It's fun. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I think when it comes out, I might watch it again. But I mean, I can honestly say I'm a baseball fan, but I never really read up on Jackie Robinson more. I mean, beyond what he did in the beginning of his career.
That's
I mean, he wasn't even.
Dude, that's way better off than. Okay, I probably shouldn't say who this is, or they'll might watch the video and yell at me, but I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago, and they were like, I'm trying to cover up with pronouns here, they were like, what are you seeing next week? And I'm like, 42. Like, what's that? Like, it's a Jackie Robinson movie. Like, they're like, oh, I've never seen any of his movies.
Does this person's fucking name begin with a J and end in an arid? By any chance?
No, actually, no. I would have.
Shit.
Oh, I wouldn't have tried covering that up. Are you kidding me? I would have. That would have been the first thing I said in this review. Would have been. Do you know what the fuck Jared just said? No. It wasn't. No, it wasn't Jared. It wasn't Jared.
Well, okay. I guess if you have never gotten into baseball, maybe that's
I'm not a baseball guy, and I know who Jackie Robinson is.
But I mean, the first black baseball player in history is kind of a big deal.
It was the one time where you could use the phrase "You're killing me, Smalls," and it really kind of made sense.
Right.
Like, it wasn't about Babe Ruth, but
like, I think at one point I even had Jackie Robinson in my history book.
I think we did.
Like, and I mean, because it's not a huge. I mean, as far as the terms of like overall history, it's not a huge thing in the timeline of man. But like, I think they're in a subsection of American history.
Absolutely.
When you got to there, I had a history book where Jackie Robinson is mentioned. If you get into the history books, you're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Regardless,
we had that in our
regardless of
books.
who you are or what kind of person you were, if you make it into the history books,
yeah,
you know, you're a big deal.
Yeah, it was in our history books, and I grew up in a baseball family.
Yeah.
I'm not. Again, like I said, I would go to games though with my dad. I would go to that. I liked actually physically like being there and like going to games and stuff like that. And I root for my dad's team. I can't tell you the last time I watched a baseball game was, but I root for my dad's team. So yeah, I grew up in a very, very baseball household and things like that. But even aside from that, yeah, Jackie Robinson was in our history books. I knew probably by the age of 5 who Jackie Robinson was.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is look at its impact on today's game. I mean, four of the top 5 all-time home run leaders are black. I mean, it's that you got Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, Willie Mays.
Wait a minute, now I'm confused because on RBI Baseball, all these players are white. No, this is play RBI Baseball again. It's the same sprite for all of them. Which,
well, I think Barry Bonds acts like a whiny white boy sometimes, but I think that's the steroids.
RBI Baseball made all the characters white.
Come
Oh,
on, it was
RBI
8-bit.
Baseball.
They couldn't mix that many colors, so they're like, make them all white.
RBI
Nobody will
Baseball?
care.
There were some colors in that game.
But yeah, they needed.
They got the colors on the
colors of the
uniform,
uniform right. Yeah.
and the little and the sad cheerleaders at the end every time you lose, and it's the newspaper like you done fucked up,
Yes.
player one. How can I? That fucking computer's impossible. It's automatically fucking there every time I hit a ball.
How could I follow that dinking little square?
Oh.
The ding ding ding. God.
Damn it, RBI Baseball, and I still own it. I still
Yeah,
play it.
fucking A.
Yeah, it's fun. I like that because that game has it has 3 options. It has player 1, player 2, and watch. You can just
Watch a
watch
game.
your fucking game. All right, like if I'm that much of a fucking gambler, okay. Like, hey, I got $20 that 8-bit fucking Cardinals are gonna win.
Oh, damn it.
Let's pause this. Talk about the trailers.
All right. That's good enough.
You know we've been here late when they shut the parking lights off.
Of course. They're like, who are these fucking people every week?
Every fucking week with the fucking dome lights on. I know what they're fucking doing in there.
Right? It always smells like skunk out here. I know what the fuck's going on.
Well, that's because we're right next to fucking Pissfield Central over here.
Right.
With the fucking... Trust me, I've taken pisses several times over there.
Yes, have I.
We got, Mud. It was my first time seeing the trailer for Mud.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
looks pretty good.
I had heard about it, but I hadn't seen any trailers, and yeah, it looks like it might be a pretty damn entertaining film.
Oh, yeah. I fucking love crazy-ass McConaughey, man. When they just cut McConaughey loose in movies, it's fucking gold.
Right.
He'll be jumping on fucking... shaved head, jumping on fucking dragons and shit. Or making, Gina Gershon suck his chicken leg dick. Fucking mechanical leg, chainsaw 4, things like that. Grabbing the shotgun, ha! Oh, man, when they just cut him loose, it's gold. It's fucking amazing. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh man, and then we got shit. What else do we get? I can't remember
wrote
now.
them down here. Rush.
Rush, yes, the new biopic of Neil Peart.
I had no idea he was a stock car racer. I had no idea.
Oh shit.
It was the racing movie.
Yeah, with is it James Hunt and
Chris Hemsworth? Is that
Chris
who that
Hemsworth?
was?
Yeah,
I
and
thought that was
then
him.
fuck.
I've already... If I didn't write that down, I would not have fucking remembered that. I know it's the Ron Howard movie,
Yeah,
but I...
it is a biopic, but it's about the Formula One racers.
Mhm.
I can't remember the other guy's name now. Fuck. It escapes me.
I can't either. I know it's Ron Howard because it goes from the director of Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind. It's like, oh, how come it didn't say from the director of The Dilemma? I didn't. With all due respect, Ron Howard.
Right. Don't kill us.
This was the first time I saw the full trailer to After Earth.
Oh yeah.
With Will Smith doing his best Morgan Freeman impression. I didn't notice that the first time I saw the trailer. Then when Brian mentioned it, now hearing it again, he's doing like this very almost sort of Morgan Freeman, but not quite as good as Jeff Peterson's Morgan Freeman.
You either get busy dying or get busy living.
Old Andy Dufresne. Turned out he was on Earth all along.
That first night.
Will Smith at this point has become the movie star equivalent of the annoying parents who's jamming his kids' pictures in our faces. It's like,
yes.
sorry, you cannot get me to fucking like Jaden Smith, no matter how many times you show me his picture. Fucking Will Smith and your goddamn kids.
That's one black man that even Jackie Chan cannot help his career.
It hardly helped fucking Chris Tucker. The only other movie other than Rush Hour I could fucking think of that he was in was the Silver Linings Playbook.
He's in Money Talks.
That was before Rush Hour.
I know, but
That was like he was in Friday.
damn right he was. Fucking A,
But
Friday.
not next Friday. Oh,
Or
see?
the Friday after
Or the
next.
Friday after. And that's where it was at.
That was fucking Mike Epps, who's a very subpar version. I'm sorry.
It's like saying, you missed out, man. You weren't in Class Act with Kid and Play. They got Pauly Shore for it. Yeah, After Earth. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know that I want to see any We Left Earth destroyed and distraught movies this year. I really don't.
It turns out they had to leave Earth because it was taken over by bad CGI. Shit, man. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
I kind of like to think Oblivion is like the prequel to After Earth. It's like whatever Tom Cruise did just fucks it up and the black guy has to come in and fix it.
Oblivion looks better than... Yeah, but I think Oblivion looks better than After Earth.
I think it does too.
But it's a Shyamalan movie, so I'm sitting there thinking the entire time, like, is it gonna turn out that, like, they're on Earth, like, 1 million years ago?
I really hope it turns out that Will Smith is actually a comatose patient. It's all in his fucking head. Now that would actually be a fucking entertaining movie.
Oh shit, it's all taking place in the guy's head from the end of Identity.
Or it's like St. Elsewhere, he's just an autistic kid, he's holding a globe, and he's
Yeah.
like...
Damn, this kid's a genius! He thinks of fantastic stories. We got Hangover 3, which I guess me, you, and Brian will be at that to round out to finish since we're at the second one. At least this one looks... I can't tell what it's about, but I can at least tell that it doesn't look like it's doing the same thing again. So
no, there's no bachelor party. It looks like they're straight up going to Vegas. I mean, it almost makes it look like they want to tear Vegas apart.
Uh-huh.
Because it's, what is it, Zach Galifianakis' character, his dad dies. Because that was his funeral.
Jeffrey Tambor.
So I have a feeling that's going to set it up somehow. I don't know, maybe, because I'm sure, because it looks like he inherits his dad's money because he buys a fucking giraffe.
Oh, right.
And that fucking...
the decapitated giraffe at the end of it.
And seriously... Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but can't giraffes fucking duck?
We know
have
they can't.
brains.
How else do you think the giraffes in Dumbo survived? You know that they came across a tunnel at some point.
Right?
See? Exactly.
Just... Whoop.
Oh, don't.
Okay, you may have to move the entire neck, but I'm pretty sure they can still do this.
They only correct Dave now.
True.
Some guy on the comments last time said, like, you know how some people have a swear jar? They need to have an incorrect jar for Max Force.
And I'm sorry, he was kind of right on the nail gun. There's a safety feature. That shit does not shoot if it's not
Like a
pressed up
bullet?
against something. No, I mean, a nail gun has to be, every nail gun, pneumatic or not, you have to press it up against something before the nail will
Before it
load
comes
before you can
out.
shoot it.
I have no idea. I
So,
don't know
I mean-
jack shit about nail guns.
As far as I remember, because that's a safety feature so people don't fucking do exactly what happened in that movie.
But I fucking knew though that there was not a subtle hint that they were there for drug reasons in the original Evil Dead. Like he went on about that last time, and in my head I'm like they were there for spring break.
They were just hanging out. Yeah,
I was like, they were there on like fucking spring break. I didn't really say anything. I said like, I don't remember that. But in my head, I'm like, I don't think that's true. But there's always that 0.1% chance that.
No, yeah, because it was just they were hanging out.
Yeah, they were there on like fucking spring vacation and shit.
But yeah,
The other one was, well, it's The Great Gatsby, but fucking autocorrect on here seems to think it's called The Great Gaze By. That's not what I wrote. Son of a bitch.
That's a totally different movie. That's going to be
That
the
movie
porn
looks
name.
pretty though. Great
does.
Gatsby
I mean,
does. It looks like the 3D is gonna be amazing.
If there's one thing Lerman can do,
Yeah.
it's direct a just magnificent looking film.
That's how the movie looks.
Even if the film itself is vapid as fuck,
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet, it's still fucking pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So all the little girlies will go, woo! Look at us.
No,
And
all the
Baz Luhrmann
DiCaprio
goes,
girls are like,
suck this dick, bitch.
all the DiCaprio girls are like 35 right now.
And they're all still wet. So... I get a little bit of a stiffy when I see like DiCaprio at this point in his fucking career. So, I mean, you know, I don't blame a female for getting a little wet in the nether regions, you know?
still isn't the worst fucking autocorrect that I've had on here. Dude, when I was standing in line at a store. This is back when I was going out with Kelly. I was standing in line at a store, and she wrote to me something like, it was something like going to get this sandwich from McDonald's or something. I don't know. It was something like that. And me being a smartass, I write back like, sounds sexy. That's not how it went through.
So an autocorrect is, why aren't you making me a sandwich in your kitchen, miss?
Damn, phone! Damn, I fucking got Mel Gibson's phone,
This is
apparently.
correct, not autocorrect.
No, I wrote down, sounds sexy.
Oh.
It auto-corrected it to, Kim sounds sexy.
Who's Kim?
That's what happened. Luckily, I noticed it immediately. I wrote back, I'm like, that's a fucking phone. But not before she wrote back before it goes, who the fuck is Kim?
I really want to like write the most intensely just horrible shit, and then right after go fucking autocorrect just to see if I can get away with it.
Do it.
Be like, I want to tear you apart and use your blood to bathe in the pools of oblivion. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just meant, what did you want for dinner tonight, honey?
No, dude. Do it next time, like, it's a group of us at a movie, and if your movie's, like, longer than ours or something, do it to the group that's, like, sitting in the car. Hang on, I got this message from Brian. What the shit?
I'm sorry, I meant, how was your guys' movie?
Sorry, fucking autocorrect.
Fucking autocorrect.
Alright, well, I gotta get home and go to sleep, because I gotta wake up in the morning to see fucking Scary Movie 5.
Oh, what fun.
See ya.
Adios.